Hello, welcome back to another episode Transfer Portal CFB presented by NoContextCFB. The biggest game of the season is going down in just a few days, Andrewster. The FCS National Championship. If you thought we were talking about TCU, Georgia, you're out of your gourd. Word to Colin Cowherd. We're talking North Dakota State. You hated I knew you would. We're talking North Dakota State. We're talking South Dakota State. It's a battle for the Dakota marker in Frisco. That's bad. We could rant about that all day, but we're not going to. We just want to talk about this game a bit.
Yeah, the fact that this game is always in Frisco, I understand that there's FCS teams everywhere, but if we're being real, the FCS brand is made in the Midwest and the Northwest. So let's just put it anywhere close to that in any NFL stadium, college stadium that isn't using it. I don't know, maybe US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, if a Dakota's always going to be in it, make it easier for the students to go. I don't know. That's maybe just me. This is a massive game. We saw earlier in the year South Dakota State take down North Dakota State in what was one of the most thrilling regular season games. But when it comes to the playoffs, you can never just count out the Bison.
Nope. And we're looking at the lines here. South Dakota State 5-point favorite. The total's at 47.5. Do either of those numbers surprise you, Mr. Wilson?
I don't really think they surprise me. I guess I would be a little inclined to take the spread with North Dakota State just because I know what they're capable of.
Mm.
But I would actually really love to see first quarter and first half numbers because these are two teams that, especially in these playoffs, have started very slow. If we remember, North Dakota State was down 16-0 to UIW before they came back. They were in a close game in the first half with Montana. South Dakota State, there were some first quarter and first halves where we were like, this doesn't look like our normal jacks. So those would be numbers I'm more interested in to see if I could get, maybe a draw in the first quarter. That would be very
Whoa.
interesting.
Whoa, a little soccery bet kind of feel there.
I was
Betting a
thinking more
draw.
hockey, but
Hockey too. Yeah, I guess we're hockey people.
yeah, US Canada's about
Yeah.
to start. So
Hey man. Look, give me wait, actually I want to give my actually should I say I don't know words. I like NDSC plus the 5 is what I was gonna say. I think that before we dive into players and stuff and all that, I think that there's serious motivation from the NDSU side here and kind of the underdog role, which that ain't something that's ever happening with the Bison. They're in this underdog role where South Dakota State's been talking about as the best team in the FCS all year long, especially after they beat North Dakota State. North Dakota State's coming in here, chip on their shoulder, 3-game losing streak to the Jackrabbits. I'm just saying.
yeah, and I know what you're saying, and it's not common for the power. This is the definition of a power. We think of Alabama in the FBS. No, they're not a power when you look at North Dakota State. North Dakota State is the generational dynasty in all of football that no one talks about because they play in the FCS.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine last year. Remember last year when Alabama was playing Georgia in the SEC title game? Georgia was undefeated. They were looking unstoppable. Alabama had that loss to Texas A&M earlier in the year. Everyone was thinking, yeah, Georgia's going to roll them. Well, don't let a generational team have a chip on their shoulder. Imagine how well they're going to freaking play. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to think is happening here in Frisco with North Dakota State.
Yeah, North Dakota State's like a tycoon. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I can't think of any. They're generational. They're iconic. When you think of the
Mm-hmm.
FCS or
They
even
are the
foot,
FCS.
they Frisco, CES. I'm trying to think of something that happens to be with the Bison, and I can't.
Okay. All right, that's fine. Let's talk about some players. Who's one guy that you're looking for on? I'll let you choose the team.
I'm going to start with North Dakota State, and I know one player you're going to take on North Dakota State, so I'm going to go on the other side of
Thank
the
you.
ball.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to go Spencer Wagee, the defensive lineman for North Dakota State, received All American honors, I believe, second team. This dude, when I watched him, it didn't matter if he was one on one with a tackle, if he was working inside, if he was being double teamed, he was always finding his way into the backfield. This is going to be a game where South Dakota State is going to want to run the ball. Now, if Gronowski is going to pass, they need to pressure him. They need to keep him in the pocket and make that pocket collapse. He's going to be a massive part of that. If he can tally a sack in the TFL plus that or two, that's going to be a massive win for North Dakota State in those trenches.
Mm-hmm. Cody Malk for me, I mean, you already knew where it was. And yes, it's Malk. That's how you say his name. How do we know, us two little doofuses? Because Cody told us how to say his name when we interviewed him. It's Malk. This is a guy who he should really be a late first round pick in the upcoming NFL draft. If not, you're still looking at a top 40, 45 pick because he's that good. He's arguably the best run blocker in the class when
No,
it comes
arguably
to
about it.
no arguably about. There it is from Mr. Wilson. Like when it comes to offensive tackles in this class, look at just when you're watching Cody Malk, please lock in on the ginger with that long hair and just watch him on every single rep. Look at the footwork, look at the way that he just paves the way for North Dakota State to run the ball, and they want to run the ball and they want to bleed clock. Look at him just set the edge so well. And then when you get into the red zone, you're not just getting Cody at left tackle, he'll switch to right. And if he's on the right side, you know that they're going to run right, and it still doesn't matter. Cody's just going to pummel someone. There's also someone that's just straight up FBS or FCS. He's top 3 most likable player in the country. He's just a goofball on the field. He high-fived himself in the semi-slot. In the semis. That was hilarious. Playing the violin too. Cody Malk is that dude. He also doesn't have 2 front teeth. He lost them diving for basketball way back in the day in 7th grade.
So if any NFL team wants easy Christmas social media content, there it is right there. He's the Jacob Middleton of the upcoming NFL draft, if anyone here watches hockey. One thing I want to say with Cody Malkin is actually 2 things that I feel like need to be touched on. We talked about his dominating run game. He's not the greatest pass blocker, but you're not drafting him to be a pass blocker. You're drafting him to be an absolute freaking mauler. There's 2 aspects of his game that I feel don't get talked enough about. Number 1, his ability as a puller. Whenever he pulls, any DB or linebacker needs to just duck for cover. It is insane what he is able to do and the power that he brings with the swiftness of his feet. He is running as if Zeus, the Greek, I don't even know Greek mythology, was a person and he was just that swift. Or I don't know the Greek mythology swiftness. I'm a sport management major. I don't know anything. I'm stupid.
What was that called?
I don't know. And number 2, his ability to get to the second level. If they're running in a power game, if he gets to that second level, that linebacker is in the dirt. He is freaking on the ground. He is crying for his mother because Cody Malk just absolutely demolished him.
Mm-hmm. You'll see it. Like people are going to see that in this game. You're going to see Cody absolutely just finish and send a guy into the shadow realm. Yeah. It's great to see. Also, when we talked to Cody, we asked him like, "Yo, Cody, let's go build the best offensive line possible all time." He didn't include himself. And we had to be like, yo, no, you're fine. At least be a swing tackle so you could be that 6th. Like, he's so good at that. Let's go to South Dakota State and name a player.
Can I name 2?
I mean, yeah, we could probably
the Yankee Twins.
Ideas, you guys too.
I'm just going with the Yankee. Sorry, I'm stupid. I don't know how to say words. If anyone knows me.
Zeus.
Yeah, the Yankee Twins are going to be massive because North Dakota State is going to focus on stopping the run because it's the FCS. It's the Missouri Valley Conference. There's going to be a lot of running. The Yankee Twins are going to be massive. They just apparently pulled out of the Hula Bowl. So it looks like we'll be getting the Gronowski to double Yankee connection in 2023, which is very good if you're a fan of the Jacks. North Dakota State has some good DBs. Their pass defense isn't always amazing, though. If they can get some big plays, and I'm not even talking about, a 75-yard touchdown right off the rip of a drive. I'm talking about getting some 25-yard crossers in, maybe get a double move, get something along the sideline so Gronowski can showcase his arm more, which I would love to see. I understand they run the ball a lot. Gronowski's a very talented quarterback. Let him cook, and the Yankee Twins are going to be 2 of his favorite targets.
Yankee.
That's what I said, the Yankee Twins.
You said Yankee.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm freaking. It's stupid. I haven't talked in like a month. I'm sorry. this is going to be a massive connection for the Yankee Twins and the Jacks if they want to beat North Dakota State. If they try and win this game in the trenches, it's going to be a lot harder. It's going to be a absolute freaking battle, which I'm not against. I'm not against watching a battle in the trenches between the Dakota States. But if South Dakota State wants to give them the best chance, they got to put the ball in the air.
I will say too, you spoke to NDSU TVs. I think Destin Talbert is really underrated. I'm excited to see how he fares against one of the Yankee Twins. All right, there's two players in this game, Andrewster, that went to Solon High School just outside of Iowa City in Solon, Iowa. One of them, NDSU quarterback Cam Miller. The other one, South Dakota State linebacker Adam Bach, who I think is he the best FCS linebacker? I would say he is. Truthfully, I think he's the best prospect at linebacker in the FCS.
Oh, for sure.
This is a guy that will be playing on Sundays for years to come. You're gonna see him in like 2028 just making tackles on Sunday Night Football at a high level, super high IQ, really good at getting into the backfield, blowing a play up. He's really strong in coverage too. There's just so much good that he does, and he put on really good tape when South Dakota State played Iowa earlier this year. Was just a menace, dude. And that fumble that he forced was so good in that game. I think Bach is truly one of the best players in the FCS, and people really need to realize this. He doesn't get talked about much because South Dakota State has a team full of guys that are capable of playing in the FBS and the NFL. And for whatever, I mean, Bach plays defense, so like everyone wants to focus on Tucker Kraft and Gronowski and the Yankees, Isaiah Davis, and rightfully so. But Bach is the leader of that defense, and he will continue to make plays. He's going to be really pivotal in this game because of how he's able to, stop NDSU from picking up 5-6 yards of carry.
Oh, it's not even 5-6 yards of carry. When you're talking about NDSU, you got to be worried if they get 10 yards of carry. Yep. I mean, we remember Montana. Montana had a good run defense. They let North Dakota State run for, I want to say, in the area of 450 yards on 10 yards of carry because Kobe Johnson decided to turn into prime Chris Johnson and just have multiple 70-plus yard runs. South Dakota State cannot let that happen, and Bach is going to be a major stopping point for that defense.
It's also just tough, like Hunter Lipke not playing in this game.
It's so unfortunate.
That's the low man winner. That is the best fullback in college football. It doesn't matter if it's FBS, FCS, or D3. Lipke is the best fullback. He's the best prospect. He's going to be an NFL player. He's been out for the last few months, and it stinks because that's a guy that would absolutely electrify this game. But, man, Noah Gindorf out too for NDSU really hurts. That's someone that Andrew Stern and I spoke to before the season. We also spoke to Tucker Kraft and Mark Gronowski. We've got ties in this game. We're rooting for
a good game.
But I was going to say like 13 overtimes.
If we get to multiple overtimes, I'm hoping that North Dakota State gives Cody Mauk a chance to catch a ball, and then we just get a bunch of Tucker Kraft catches.
Just my thought. My thought was just Cody Mauk leaking as he's playing the sixth offensive lineman role there, the swing tackle off tight end, and he just leaks into the flat and makes a catch for the game-winning touchdown.
Or what I would love is if they just ran the Maryland I with Cody Mauk as the all the way back halfback, and they just hand it off to him, and he's got two options, one in each flat.
All right,
and if he doesn't want to take it, then he can just bull rush in.
Man, let's make a score prediction here. I think both of us, just to clarify, both of us did we did like FCS brackets before it started. Yep. We had the same Final Four, or was it 3 of the 4?
We had 3 of the 4 because I had Weber State.
Okay. So we both had this as the national championship.
Yeah, we both had this as a national championship. I don't think you had the correct Final Four.
I think. Hold on. Okay, keep talking.
Because I thought you had William and Mary over Montana State.
Keep talking.
Okay. Yeah, we both had this national title game. I feel like we knew this was going to be the national title game as soon as the bracket got released. North Dakota State gets that side of the bracket with pretty much no competition outside of UIW We all
Well,
thought
the
Sacs.
Sanford put up a solid fight.
No, they didn't.
It was Sanford like held their own. It wasn't like it was
In
a
one
like
half,
yeah, like that's fine.
they were not good in that second half.
I didn't say they were.
You said they held up a fight.
They held their own for a bit. Yes, I will stand
But
by that.
that side of the bracket was pretty weak outside of UIW. We all knew Sac State was going to lose to somebody. It just happened to be in the greatest FCS game of all time against that UIW team. And then South Dakota State, they got the short end of the stick having to play Montana State. That ended up not being a very short stick. That was a pretty easy one for South Dakota State. We all knew this was coming. I just don't know because we all thought going into this tournament, South Dakota State should cruise. They should cruise at least to the final, if not win it all pretty easily. North Dakota State will not die, even though they've had some rough first quarters and first halves. They are still North Dakota freaking State.
Give a score prediction.
I am going to go 31-28 Bison.
All right, so that's the cover for NDSU. That's also the money line and the over. All right, I looked at our brackets. We had the same Final Four, dude. We had the same exact Final Four. We had the same national championship. We both picked.
I thought I had Weber State.
So did I.
Oh,
We had the same Final Four. We had the same national championship. We both picked South Dakota State to win it.
And I'm changing.
And I'm changing. I'm
oh, come
Bison.
on.
I'm taking the Bison. I can't go against Cody Malk. I just can't. That dude is an electric factory. I really just enjoy watching him play. And I don't know. Like, I just feel like North Dakota State, they can't lose four straight to their arch rival. I can't see that happening. I'm going different score, though. I'm going 23.
Ooh.
23 22.
Oh, so we're getting a 1 point game. It's because someone missed an extra point. Wow, William.
No. South Dakota State scores in a 23-16 game and then goes for too late. Doesn't get it.
Wow.
Chills. That's why I'm going with NDSU 23-22.
I don't think it's going to be very chilly in Frisco, though.
No, okay. It's okay.
I will say you don't see North Dakota State losing 4 in a row. I can agree with that. This series is very streaky. Very streaky. Like teams will go 10 years without losing.
Mm-hmm. And then another thing that just scares me with that South Dakota State is they just have trouble in big games sometimes, and that's just been something that's happened in their history.
I don't want to compare them to this, but because they're better than this term, there's like a little bit of Clemsoning.
Really?
I don't think it's to that level, but I'm trying to think of a term that's like we know they're a very good team until they get to that big game. It's really just like not current. I mean, current Clemsoning is possible, but like that, like late 2000s, the beginning of the Dabo era Clemsoning before they had generational quarterbacks.
I know. I think that's fair. Like they'll just unfortunately those fall flat. And it happened when they played NDSU. They fell flat in the first half in that matchup. They were down like 21-10, had to come back and win it. That was super impressive. If you give NDSU a lead here, I don't see them really squandering it. If they get like 7, if they get like 10, I think that's GG's.
Yeah, I think you can't say the same about North Dakota State. I feel like they're able to come back from being down. I mean, they were down 16-0 to UIW and ended up winning a game that I feel they should have won by a little bit more. It's just their run game is so potent and they're able to break off a big one at literally any time, whether it's with Kobe, whether it's with Cam, whether it's with any of the second or third string backs. They're able to break off something of 30, 40, 50, 75 yards. I don't really see that too much with South Dakota State.
No, I feel that. Do you want to go with maybe an X factor to share?
I'm going to go X factor. If South Dakota State can stop the run without completely loading the box, then I think that's a win because Cam Miller is able to throw. They just don't because why throw when you're so successful on the ground? If they can have, 6-man box and not let Kobe, break off 7, 8 yard runs every other time, that's a massive win for South Dakota State. So I'm going to say stopping the run without completely committing to it, which
All
is
right.
very tough against North Dakota State. It's very tough.
It is. You heard it from Andrew Rooster. Any last words, man?
Well, do you have an X factor?
Yeah, I have an X factor.
Say your X factor.
The team who scores more points is going to win this game. I think that's going to be crucial in this. No, I actually think this. I think scoring the first points of the game is going to be crucial. I think whoever scores the first points is winning. I don't care if it's like 2 or 3. I think the team that scores the first points is going to win the game.
Yeah, I feel that. Get that early momentum. And I mean, we didn't even talk about as an X factor North Dakota State's experience. They are chock full of guys in their 6th year that this will be like their 4th or 5th national title
This is going
game.
to be Mauk's 4th if he wins these falls, right?
It's insane how many times they've been to more national title games than Alabama's been to like SEC title games almost in the last 4 or 5 years. It's insane.
It's ridiculous. And I mean, hey, again, if we're giving out bang tips, why not just bet NDSU? You're getting plus 200 on the money line. You could double your money if NDSU wins the national championship. NDSU winning a national championship doubles your money. Where else would you want your money with?
I will also say if you had either of these teams, more specifically, if you had South Dakota State coming into the tournament as the champion, now would be a beautiful time to hedge. Now would be an awesome time to hedge if you had South Dakota State now getting North Dakota State, knowing what you know now with these kind of odds.
Both of us, though, man, we're just rooting for a good game. We're rooting for a slobber knocker. We love both these teams. We like a lot of players on the teams. We built solid relationships, and we just want to see haymakers be thrown, not literally.
I mean, it'd be pretty good content. Because they got to find some way to compete with the NFL playoffs because the FCS doesn't know how to freaking schedule their championship game.
Why on earth did the FCS decide to throw this game from a Saturday to a Sunday on week 18 of the NFL? Did they forget that the NFL expanded a week? I don't know. That was super idiotic.
The thing is, even if they didn't expand a week, then they'd be competing with the playoffs. Playoffs. Like this should be on a Friday night. This should be on a Friday night.
Yes.
I don't know why it's not. Friday night, ABC, idiotic. ESPN, CoCast, get Pat McAfee out there. We know he loves him some FCS ball.
Yeah, you want to maximize the viewership for this game for your product, not just for these two teams.
And these are your two biggest brands.
Yes, because your product never gets any love. And it's us two doofuses that are the only ones on the YouTubes talking about it.
The only time people talked about the FCS this year is when UIW and Sacramento State had a literal historic playoff game at like 1 a.m. It was the only sport on in America.
And it was on the Plus. It was on ESPN Plus. And
it was on a freaking streaming service.
Both of us complained well before that game got played that why is this
when I heard the freaking schedule when I was in Fargo and I heard that game was the one that was being flexed onto ESPN Plus, I was about to like punch a wall.
Yeah, terrible
awful scheduling. Awful. Right. You need to be better.
Yes, FCS, be better. These two teams are going to go to war. It's going to be really good. Please watch this game. And Andrew Sperry and I are we're just gonna get out here so we could go watch USA Canada.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Bye. That's the best way.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow T-Portal CFB on Twitter. Follow our Twitters that are on the screen. Enjoy the hockey game.
Yeah. Bye.